Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and like every single week we have a huge variety for you, and to really emphasize this we have the Patek Philippe Aquanaut up here at the top right next to an awesome and unbelievable 1970s YEMA, and obviously we're going to be having a look at both of these two and the other 11 watches on the table. So 13 watches for you guys and girls this week. Now some things just to get straight off the bat, if you want to skip to specific watches you can do so via description. There is timestamps to go direct to see that piece, so you can skip all my rambling. You can also go straight over to the website, and over there you will see more photos, more information, the full descriptions, and also the price. Now if you go over there and it says sold, then it is already sold. It's gone quicker than we anticipated, so do keep that in mind. And as always, these watches are available before they come to the website via our Instagram, so make sure you're following over there at Kibble Watches as we showcase what's coming soon, and you can sort of keep up to date with that on our profile. There's a little tab called Coming Soon, click through that and you'll see everything that's not yet on the website, and you can beat the website by sending us a message, so nice and simple. And before we get on to the watches and what's on wrist, it is incredibly warm here in the UK at the moment, to the point where we've got pretty much all the windows open, we've got the fans on, so I do apologise if you hear any noise. I often say most videos that Clerkenwell, which is where we're based in London, is incredibly loud, and it's even more loud when the windows are open, so I do apologise. So we'll do our best to make sure I skip the parts where motorbikes and all the sirens and everything like that, so do bear with us. But what's on wrist? I am wearing my personal Omega Dynamic Crazy DeVille Geneve. I mean, it's everything all in one really, isn't it? Absolutely awesome chronostop. I love this watch, and it's a watch I don't wear enough. I think actually 2 videos ago or 3 videos ago I was wearing it, so that sort of maybe doesn't appear like it, but I don't actually wear it enough, so that's why I'm wearing it today. Absolutely gorgeous watch, and again, I think I said in the last video, but they only made this one for 1 year. It was a specific Italian designer. There's so much history and heritage in this, and you just don't see them often. I suspect a lot of you guys and girls probably would have seen this model before if you hadn't already seen it on my wrist in Instagram or on the videos, but a really cool watch nonetheless. But that is enough of the rambling. Let's get on to what you're actually here to see, and that is the variety we have on the table, which today is overly emphasized. I mean, it's just crazy. We've got that bonkers Graham, which we're going to get onto. We've got a Tudor Day Date, or the Tudor Glamour as it's called. We've got some funky 70s pieces. There really is something for everyone on the table today, including another Fears Brunswick, which I'm excited to show you guys and girls. But we're going to have to start with the elephant on the table. I guess we're going to go with that saying, and that is the Patek Philippe Aquanaut. Let's take a closer look. What a watch to begin this week with. Look at this. This is the Patek Philippe Aquanaut, the 5167A-001. Absolute gorgeous watch, and what makes this quite interesting to me is the fact that the Aquanaut for the longest time was the ugly duckling among the Patek lineup. People didn't want it, they wanted the Nautilus, and for that reason the Aquanaut was overlooked for so long. But with recent times and the absolute craze of the Nautilus reaching astronomical figures that just made no sense, and as such recently have actually come down, this model gained more traction because people couldn't get the Nautilus, so they looked at alternatives. People started to realise this watch is actually fantastic. It looks brilliant, it fits beautifully, and it's just a great option. So people gravitated towards it, rightfully so. Unfortunately, in the absolute craze, the prices of these did go insane as well as the Nautilus. The Nautilus hit insane figures, and so did the Aquanauts. Now, things have come back down to reality, and we have this one priced at an incredibly fair price, especially when you look around the market, you'll see we're being very fair. And I think these are now settled to where they're actually going to be. Now, obviously, I can't say that for definite. I'm not going to sound like all those other watch YouTubers who say they know exactly what's going on with the market and everything's up from here. We just don't know. That's the reality. But I do believe this is a great option nonetheless. And if you have this kind of money to spend on a watch and you're actually going to wear and enjoy this, then perfect. If you're looking for an investment, I always say watches aren't investments anyway. Don't be buying them for that purpose. But no, your money's pretty well safe in here. I don't think you're going to lose 20 grand on it. But obviously, we don't know. So do your research and make your own mind up on that kind of stuff. Now, in terms of this one, it does come with its box, so it's a Patek Philippe box, and it will come with an extract from the archives. Now, anyone who's dealt with Patek know they take forever to get an extract from the archive sent back to you. So we submitted it a fair while ago now, and we're still waiting for it to come through. So once it comes through, we'll ship it over to you, as well as the watch. Obviously, you'll get the watch first and the extract once it gets delivered to us. And therefore, we can't be certain of the exact age of the watch. It's definitely circa 2010s, but in terms of the exact age, we don't know for definite, so I'm not going to try and claim like we do. But a really gorgeous watch. Inside is the automatic Patek Philippe caliber 324SC. A beautifully decorated movement with a 21, I believe 21 karat gold rotor, which just looks absolutely stunning. You can see the Patek seal right there. Gorgeous piece. This does come on its original cut Patek Philippe rubber strap. Now, when I say cut, some people have gone, what do you mean by that? So these rubber straps are physically cut to size to go on the clasp. So therefore, once they're cut to size, you cannot cut them again. You know, you can't get bigger, you can only go smaller. So in terms of the size for this, it's around 6 3/4, and it's a bit tight. Like, I've got just shy of a 7-inch wrist. I can just about get away with it, but it is certainly tight on me, especially in this heat. I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing this, but I can just about put it on. Now, what we've done is we're providing a uncut rubber B strap. So rubber B make really good aftermarket options, and it will fit the original buckle as well. So you've got both options there if this doesn't fit you, which is nice to have. But here we go on wrist. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the dial. It reminds me of a grenade. You know, I just think it's so cool. And this is 40mm by 47mm lug to lug. Only 8mm thick and 20mm lugs. Screw down crown, of course. This is a proper awesome sports watch from a brand that are more known for their absolute beauty and complications, which is why I think this is really cool and a bit of an outlier when it comes to Patek. So go check this watch out on the website today. Now let's go on to actually what is my favourite watch on the table, and not necessarily keeping in price or anything like that, but we're going to have a look at the watch next to it, and that is this gorgeous 1970s YEMA. Let's take a closer look. So here we go, from a Patek Aquanaut over to this absolutely awesome YEMA. The moment I saw this, I knew we had to stock it, and to be honest, I was contemplating keeping it. But it's not really my kind of thing. It's my kind of thing in terms of how quirky and funky it is, but I can't really pull it off, to be honest. I've got to be honest with you, but I absolutely love it. This is a 1970s YEMA, which has got this absolutely gorgeous blue, and the dial's blue, but so is the crystal. Now, if I get this at a right angle, you will see this is a super high dome blue acrylic crystal. So the crystal itself is blue as well as the dial, creating this really gorgeous striking blue. You've got a date over there, beautiful little dashes just for the 12, 3, 6 and 9. YEMA stated over there in a slightly weird place, but I kind of like it. I think it really goes with the design. And this polished sort of UFO style case that sits really well on the wrist. Stainless steel back, so the rest of it is chrome. And this strap, whilst I'm not a massive fan of it, it was provided on the watch, and the blue is very true to the dial. That's why we're keeping it on it at the moment. You can see someone had cut it down to size to fit. Not ideal, not something we would do personally, so we will provide a replacement strap that you can wear on it if you don't want this strap on it, which I understand. But it won't be the same blue. That's why we kept this on there, because it matches it so well. But inside this is a manually wound FE caliber 233-59, which also dated to the 1970s, but everything about this watch is 70s. Absolutely cool. And again, it won't be for everyone, and that's what I absolutely love about these 70s designs. You either love them or you don't. They're considered quite Marmites, and I think this watch is perfect for him or for her. I could imagine a lady wearing this a bit more than I can a male, but there's certain guys out there that I know would pull this off without question and make it look absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them, but let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my wrist, just shy of 7 inches. I think it looks really cool, but as I said, I just can't pull it off. Maybe on a different strap, but I haven't tried it, to be honest, but here we go. So 39mm by 39mm lug to lug. It's perfectly round, 11mm thick and 17mm on the lug. So a little bit awkward, but we have some 17mm straps, so we'll throw one in with the watch so you can swap it out again if you don't want to be wearing it on this, which I understand. But go check it out on the website today. From there, let's go on to another blue watch, not quite the same blue, but a very gorgeous blue nonetheless, and that is the Fears Brunswick blue. Let's take a closer look. So, the Fears Brunswick blue. This is the second Brunswick blue we have sold pre-owned, and I said it for the last one. If I didn't have the Brunswick brown, the Brunswick blue would have been my choice. I absolutely love this watch, and I think the dial is perfectly done. This what Fears call galvanized blue, and it's got the two-tone as well, so you can see around the outside the finishing is different to in the center, and it just plays with the light so well, especially with those applied numerals and the appliques that are the little dots around there as well. these beautiful sort of hollow syringe style hands, which again you don't often see. You know, most brands are scared to do this kind of thing with hands because typically we'd fill it with loom, and I think that's what a lot of people would expect with this kind of design. Whereas, you know, I think they've absolutely nailed it and it looks gorgeous. And obviously being an ETA 7001 inside as well, which we can show you through the exhibition case back, you've got sub-seconds, which is very, very nice, very true to sort of like an old 1940s or 30s watch. Nice onion-shaped crown, obviously cushion case, is perfect. Now, what's quite nice as well, this is an older reference, so it does have the exhibition case back. Fears now pretty much exclusively do closed case back, so you have to request an open case back, which I personally prefer. You know, it's a beautifully done movement and a very good workhorse, but I kind of like the closed case back personally, which you can request if you buy this watch. We can speak with Fears for you and get a quote for you for a closed case back if you'd prefer that as well. But a really gorgeous watch, and this one is from February 2021. It does come with its box and papers, and it's in fantastic condition. It's been worn very little, as you can see from the strap. Talking about strap, this is their Bristol Blue, and it is the short strap. So they do short and regular length. So if this strap won't fit you, we do sell Fears straps, so we can obviously get you a quote for a regular length, but this is what it comes on. It comes on the short, and it's in very good condition, but they show on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my just shy of 7-inch wrist. I think the proportions of this are so perfect. I absolutely love it. As you guys know, with my Fizz Brunswick Brown that I wear regularly, this is 38mm by 42mm lug to lug, 11.8mm thick, so just under 12mm, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options if you're not a fan of the Bristol Blue, which I'll be surprised, I think it works really, really well, but there are plenty of options that look so good on this watch, not just within the Fizz lineup, but also just any other strap you can possibly imagine as well. So go check this one out on the website today. From there, we're going to go to a watch that we've had before. This is another one, and you know what? Every time I get them in, I really like them, and I will happily continue to buy more. And that is this gorgeous extra large Cartier Tank. Let's take a closer look. So this is another Cartier Tank extra large automatic that we've got in. We sold the last one, and when we got offered this one, we jumped at the opportunity because at the end of the day, these are great watches. The Cartier Tank is one of my personal favourites. A lot of you guys and girls know that. I've owned the Quartz mid-size myself. And this one I think is still fantastic. I find it a little too big for me personally, but I think this epitomises the modern day Cartier Tank. And what I mean by that is the tank was always traditionally small. If you look back and you see such people as Muhammad Ali wearing the Cartier Tank, by today's standard that size is actually a lady's watch, which is crazy to think. You know, someone as big and as impressive as Muhammad Ali wearing something we now consider a lady's watch, but it looks incredible on him. And I think that is what the Cartier Tank has done so well, transcended time with beautiful design, and that is exactly what the Tank is. Whereas this one is definitely a nod to the modern proportions and more for the modern day man, let's say. Obviously a lady could happily wear this, and I think in some cases it will look better on a lady than it will a man, in my opinion. But regardless, this is what the modern day man or lady wants when they want an automatic Cartier Tank. I think they've done it well, and I think they've done it very true to the original, and you know, it's executed to what we'd expect from Cartier, which is perfection. So I'm a big fan. I think you guys and girls will be too, but specifically this is the WSTA 009. Inside is a nice automatic caliber. It's very difficult to actually get any information of what automatic caliber Cartier use without opening it up, so there you go. This one is from August 2020, and it does come with its box and paperwork. As you'd expect, this is the original strap in fantastic condition, and as is the clasp and the whole watch really, so you can't go wrong at all. I apologise if you can hear all the noise outside. As I say, Clerkenwell was just unnecessarily loud. It's ridiculous. It's the loudest place in the world, guaranteed. But let's show this one on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my wrist. Now you can see on my wrist this works perfectly fine. It's not too big at all. But for me in the Cartier Tank, it's always the smaller one. Just personal preference. I know guys and girls out there who cannot stand the smaller size, and this is the minimum of which they'd go with, and I get it. So, you know, that's why it's good that they do the different sizes. This one specifically is 31mm by 40.5mm lug to lug. It's 7.5mm thick, which is incredibly thin for an automatic, and 23mm lug, so a little awkward on that size, but there certainly are options out there. But either way, this is the classic look. So go check it out on the website today. From there, let's go over to what I guess is actually more the elephant on the table, really, when you're looking at this table, and that is this Graham. This won't be for everyone. It's not particularly for me either, but we'll talk honestly about it. I've actually got it upside down, so there we go. Let's take a closer look at this watch. So now on to this absolutely crazy and huge watch. Now this won't be for everyone, I get it. It's not quite for me either, as I said in the intro, design-wise. It's not my cup of tea. But it sort of epitomizes everything we do here at Kibble Watches, which is unique, different, and refreshing. At the end of the day, you're not going to see something like this in your high street jewelers, or you may do if they happen to have bought one in very, very cheap or something like that. But in general, you're not going to see this kind of thing. And that's because it's not universal, it's not vanilla, it's not what everyone likes. And that's not what we're about here. So at the end of the day, it made sense for us to pick this up and provide it to the website. We've had it just back from a full service, which, as you can imagine, on a watch like this wasn't particularly cheap, and some may argue probably not worth it. But for us, we wanted to make sure it was retail ready for you guys and girls. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the full reference of this one. You can go check that out on the website. But inside is an automatic Graham caliber G1747. Now, it isn't an in-house movement. It is based, I believe, on a Solita. If you head over to the website, you'll see the full breakdown explaining exactly what's inside. Now, one really nice and pretty cool thing, I think anyway, is this design here with this lever that hangs over the side. It's something Graham are notorious for. But they've actually put some function into it as well. So obviously you've got the winding, which is backwards because the crown's over here on the left side to wind the watch. It is automatic, so obviously as you start wearing it will go. Now this lever you push down to start the chrono. Now that's your stop, start and reset. Stop and start, sorry, as you can see. And then this button right here is what you use to reset. So it's got a little button there in the crown. As you push this in, which is carbon fiber by the way, it goes just like so. You've got these really nice pops of orange and this black coated PVD case. The whole design works. It works for what it is. It just isn't my personal taste. But as I say, someone out there is going to absolutely love it. And Graham seems to have a pretty strong following when it comes to people who like their watches, and I get it. So this one's from 2015 with box and papers. The papers are unsigned, but as I say, fresh from service, so you're guaranteed a nice running watch. But let's show on wrist and tore dimensions. And here we go on my just shy of 7-inch wrist. If you have small wrists or you don't like big watches, just stay away from this watch. That's the best thing to say. This is 47mm by 55mm lug to lug. It has to be one of the biggest watches we have sold. It's definitely up there. 15mm thick and 24mm lugs. I would recommend keeping it on this really nice integrated rubber strap, which is built very, very well and actually super comfortable. Considering the size of this, it's quite comfortable. But go check it out on the website today. From there, let's go over to a watch that's definitely more of my kind of thing than the Graham we just looked at, and that is this gorgeous Doxa. This is the Time and Tide edition, and I think it's absolutely amazing. Let's take a closer look. So, time for this absolutely awesome Doxa. I think this is brilliant. The case shape is super cool. It's very much my kind of thing. It's a bit thick, but it's not in terms of the dimensions. It just is in the way it wears, but it wears that thickness. I don't know how else to describe it other than it feels like it should be that thick. You know, this dive watch and that style, it's meant to be. Absolutely awesome on the integrated rubber strap, which I think just looks fantastic. Super thick rubber. Again, all these things just lend to the thickness of the watch and don't make it feel out of place. They make it actually feel very, very comfortable. So the exact reference to this one is super long. I'm not going to bore you with it. Go over to the website. But this is a limited edition of 200 pieces total for Time and Tide watches. Now, we've had a few limited editions from them in the past, and each one has had a lot of emphasis on design. That's clearly what they're focusing on, and rightfully so. I think they've made very good choices when it comes to the design. So this is the Doxa Sub 600T Pacific Blue, as it's known, and that is actually a ceramic bezel, which is quite surprising. It does not look ceramic, but it certainly is. And inside is the automatic Solita SW200-1, a workhorse movement. Some people are disappointed at the kind of price range that it's not in-house. To be honest, anything that's going to reduce the long-term service costs, I'm all for, so it doesn't bother me one bit. Very, very well built and industrial clasp right there, and this is also titanium, so it's incredibly light. It's still got some weight to it because of the thickness and the movement and everything else, but it is surprisingly light. Absolutely gorgeous. This one's from November 2021. Does come with its full box and papers, but let's show it on wrist and tore dimensions. And here we go on my wrist. Now, hopefully you can see what I'm saying about the thickness. The whole watch just hugs the wrist, and it is super, super comfortable. So it is 40mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 20mm lugs. So endless options on that lug length if you're not a fan of this rubber strap, but I'll be surprised if you're not. So go check this one out, it's the perfect summer watch. From an oddball with the Doxa to something I suspect again you guys and girls have probably not seen before unless you're really into the sort of oddball brands, and that's the Aquadive. Let's take a closer look at this one. Now for another really cool and interesting watch, this is the Aquadive Bathyscaphe 500. Now you might be looking at this and going, oh, I've seen that before, that's pretty interesting, but this one gets pretty cool when you flip it over and you see the movement inside. Now that is no regular ETA or Solita. This is actually a movement made by Vaucher and Parmigiani, basically a twin barrel movement that they collaborated with and put it here in this absolutely awesome Aquadive. So whilst you're getting a really cool design on the outside, you're also getting a bit of hidden sort of mechanism which is built to an incredibly high standard and finished beautifully. Such a reliable and very, very good movement, a very high-end movement as well, all to be housed in this interesting dive watch, which again has incredible history. Head over to our website and make sure you read the write-up we've done. We talk a little bit on that history. Now I'm not going to bore you with the reference, again incredibly long. This one is from January 2015 and it does come with its original card and a CD like the Doxas do. Nice screw down crown, an original rubber strap as well with the Aquadive clasp, as you can see over there. Very nicely made, very, very comfortable. This whole thing is just, you know, for the price, I think you're going to struggle to find something that can compete mechanically, first of all, but then you're also getting something that you're not going to see again. You know, you're not going to see this on someone else's wrist, very unlikely anyway. You go to watch events, you're probably going to have a talking point with this, whereas other people are probably just going to have another Rolex. Nothing against Rolex, but something like this is certainly more interesting. But let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we are on wrist, so it's no small watch, but it still wears really well considering the size, which is 43mm by 49mm lug to lug. And I'm going to put the reason it wears so well on wrist down to the fact it's under 50mm lug to lug. I really do think it makes a big difference. 12mm thick and 22mm lug, so endless options on the strap, although this rubber strap is super comfortable and really suits the look of the watch. So go check this one out today. Now let's go on to an absolute classic, which I think is going to go down very well, and has already gone down very well actually within the collecting community, and that is the Tudor Glamour. Let's take a closer look. So it's Tudor Glamour time. Now when I first saw this watch and when it was released, I wasn't a big fan. I just felt like Tudor was slowly drifting back to their old ways of basically just copying Rolex and putting Tudor on the dial. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No, I actually think some of those watches are some of the best values you can get out there, especially the day ranges. I think they're brilliant. But I just expected better from Tudor in the modern day, with their ability to create, you know, truly brilliant watches like the Black Bay 58 and so many other options as well. That being said, now we've actually got one in, I'm impressed. The build quality is fantastic. The design isn't a direct rip-off of the Rolex. They've actually gone out their way to still sort of incorporate some of their own design features. The bezel I think is really nice, almost like an engine turn bezel. Nice screw down crown and very nice bracelet. Not quite a Jubilee, but still done in that sort of vein. Again, everything about this watch I think just works very, very well. It's like a very, and this is meant in the right way, not the wrong way, in an offensive way, but it's a very much a higher end Tissot PRX in that sense of sort of an integrated design, blue dial, but beautifully done. So the reference to this one is the 28600, and this one's from August 2021 with its box of papers and all links. And inside is the automatic Tudor Caliber T603, workhorse and reliable movement. But as I say, gorgeous design, and I think they've done very well. But let's show on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my just shy of 7-inch wrist. It fills the wrist nicely, but in a comfortable way. At 41mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, 10.5mm thick, and 26mm lugs from this point, tapering all the way down to the clasp. Beautifully done, and I think very well designed. So go check this one out on the website today. And I think it may surprise you how much of a good value it is. Let's take a quick look at the last modern watch before we get onto all funky 70s, which is definitely my kind of thing. We're going to have a look at the Baltic Mr01. We currently have the blue on the website, or as of the time we're recording this video, we have the blue, and here's the silver, so let's take a closer look. So another Baltic Mr01, and you guys probably saw we just put a brand new unworn blue dial up the other week, and now we've got the silver dial. I think these are fantastic. You guys and girls know my opinion on it. I think it's a beautifully made watch. You're sort of a guinea pig really with the movement, the fact it is a Chinese micro rotor, but you're getting a lot of value for money. This has to be one of the best value for money micro rotors on the market, with this kind of well produced and beautifully designed case and dial, so I'll go out there and say that for sure. But this is the MR01. This is part of the numbered edition. For those of you that know, the first 200 in each colour were numbered, and then after that they've started a core run, which I believe is sold out already as well, but that isn't numbered, so this is actually part of the first batch, which is kind of nice to have. The movement is a Hangzhou caliber 5000A, and this one's from October 2021. It does come with its box and paperwork, as you'd expect, and it's pretty much unworn. You know, the strap has got a crease in it where it's been fastened in the box, but virtually unworn, I would say. But let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And again, this is where this watch just shines. It's absolutely beautiful. At 36mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, 9.9mm thick, so basically 10mm thick, with 20mm lugs, endless options. They've not limited you by making it 17 or 19, and it's just such a good design. The silver one is the one I owned personally for a while, and I think it's the best of the bunch, to be honest. So go check this one out on the website today. So now for vintage and 70s and wacky. A lot of you guys and girls already know, but we bought a collection of 83 watches off a collector who had some modern pieces, but for the most part I'd say 90% of it was vintage and it was funky 70s, and I absolutely love that kind of stuff. As you all know, I'm wearing something that definitely fits the bill today, so I'm excited to bring some of these to you, and for pretty much the foreseeable future you're going to see some funky 70s pieces find their way into the drops, because we've got so many that we've got to get through. They're all in for repair. Everything we're bringing has been checked over, serviced if it needed to be, including the electronic stuff, which is coming in a few weeks, so keep an eye out for that as well. But let's get on to what you're actually here to see, and that is this awesome Tressa laser beam. What a name. Let's take a closer look. Now on to the funkiness, and this is the stuff I absolutely love. You guys and girls who know me, you know 70s, wacky and wonderful is what I am all about, and this watch is definitely up there. This is the Tressa laser beam. I mean, what a name. You can tell this is from the era where we landed on the moon in 1969 and people's creativity and minds were just set free. I'm sure all the drugs helped as well, but definitely the sort of endless opportunity of landing on the moon. Like, we can't even sort of comprehend that kind of achievement today, in my opinion, without being there at the time when that happened. You know, it's one of the biggest achievements in human history, and I think all of that is what led to this crazy design period of the 1970s. People just were free to think of whatever we could possibly do and become, thus watches like this were created. That's my thought process anyway. I mean, you decide what it actually is, but really, really cool. This is the Tressa laser beam, reference 578. As stated on the back, you can see the bracelet is the original Tressa bracelet as well. Obviously, these being older bracelets, do be careful. They're not, you know, particularly reliable. I would personally suggest wearing it on a leather strap instead, just to be sure. But a really interesting dial, very interesting date placement as well. Interesting crown placement, which is the original signed crown. Nice case back as well. And inside is an automatic AS caliber 2066. And as I say, this is from circa 1970s. As you could probably tell by that case, very unmistakable and very unapologetic in its design. But they're shown on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now for reference, you can see the bracelet is probably 2 links too big for me, so you can imagine what it will fit wrist size wise. But this is 36mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 12mm thick and 18mm lug, so endless options on that lug size if you're not a fan of the bracelet. But that dial is everything in the case shape. Works so well and it's so 70s. Go check it out on the website today. From the laser beam, let's go over to this crazy piece, and this is a Jules Jurgensen with an absolutely awesome case, nice bracelet, and it also comes with a box. Let's take a closer look at this one. Now it's time for more unapologetically 1970s. Look at this case and the shape and the dial and everything. I absolutely love it. I just think stuff like this is so cool, so of its time and so distinct. You know, we don't really have this kind of design anymore, in my opinion. There's these sort of periods we look back on, and you can just tell straight away, within a second, where it comes from. And I love that about the 1970s. Applied logo right there. This is Jules Jurgensen. You've got the date over there and the day. Nice automatic, really nice raised indices with that outer minute track, which is contrasting beautifully against the dial. I'd say this is pretty much new old stock. Yes, there's some marks, but at the end of the day, it is in fantastic condition. Original signed crown, nice signed case back. Bracelet isn't signed, but it fits nicely, as you can see, and it just really suits the watch. Again, leather strap would work perfectly fine on this. The reference to this is 149474H, and inside is an automatic AS caliber 1916. And this, as I say, is from the 1970s. Very cool design. Oh, and it comes with its box as well. How could I forget? You'll see on the website a nice photo of it. Very interesting box, which just adds to the overall package of this. And again, just so different. Look at that concave inner chapter where it comes down to the curved crystal. There's just these flows of the case. It's amazing. But they're shown on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my just shy of 7-inch wrist. The bracelet is massive. It'd probably be about 3 links out for this one. But there you go. What a unique looking watch. This isn't something you'd see often at all. Most people wouldn't even dare wear something like this out, whereas I absolutely love this kind of design. So you've got 38mm by 39mm lug to lug, only 13mm thick, and 22mm lug, so endless options on the lug size. I think a nice blue or black or grey strap would work really well as well. So go check it out on the website today. Next is one that I think is going to surprise a lot of people, because whilst it is funky 70s, I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and that is this Phoenix. Not quite Phoenix, I keep calling it Phoenix, but it's Phoenix. Let's take a closer look at this one. So if you're a fan of the 1970s design, but you can't or don't want to wear something so loud and so obviously 1970s, this is one you should consider. Absolutely awesome case shape, which again, very, very reminiscent of the 1970s, especially with that facet sort of crosshatch over there at the top. Really gorgeous blue dial. I mean, just look at that. Hopefully that's picking up on the camera. It almost looks like a blue tiger's eye, if such a thing exists. You've got nice lume plots, which have got this really even, creamy brown, the nice day date over there. Everything about this watch is absolutely awesome. All stainless steel, original signed crown, nice signed case back, and inside an automatic ETA 789 -1, so a very reliable movement as well from the 1970s. This watch would have probably not been that cheap back in its day, because again, the construction for the 1970s often of the funky cases was chrome, and they use AS calibers which were more affordable, whereas this is all stainless steel. That's a very, very, very well made dial, and it has an ETA inside. So obviously Phoenix, whoever they were trying to break the market and produce something truly amazing, and in my opinion they achieved. Unfortunately, not everyone agreed, and I think the quartz crisis probably killed them, along with so many other brands. But let's show this one on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on wrist. That is one strange and awesome looking watch all at the same time. Absolutely love it. So this is 38mm by 37.5mm lug to lug, 11.5mm thick, and 18mm lug. So endless options. We've got it paired on a very sort of toned down black strap. But you know, I think a blue suede or something just popping would really make this a fun summer's watch. So go check it out on the website today. And last but by no means least, we're going to go over to what I suspect might actually be a lot of you guys and girls' favourite watch on the table. And it's only, what am I asking, £195. That is ridiculously cheap. Let's take a close look at this. This is a Seiko automatic slate grey dial on its original bracelet. Beautiful condition. I don't think this is going to last long, so go check it out now before I start talking. Buy it and then come back and listen to what I have to say. So as I said, one that probably won't last and will sell out pretty damn quick, and you can see why. Look at that slate grey crosshair dial. Absolutely gorgeous. It has got a couple of marks and a crack right there, but it's vintage and it's all original, and the case is just wonderful, and the bracelet as well, and the stretch of the bracelet really isn't that bad. You know, people will look at that and go, oh, that's terrible, but for the age and the fact it's probably really not been worn that much, I think just everything makes this such an attractive little watch. So the reference to this is 7005-7012, and that means there's an automatic Seiko caliber 7005A inside. And this is from circa June 1972, so again 70s. Very different kind of 70s to what we've been looking at, but still very much of its time, of its era, but done in a beautiful way. And as I say, that bracelet is just very attractive. It's original Seiko bracelet with these sort of three-piece links that raise up and just really work with the cushion case. Again, I wouldn't hesitate on this one, especially the price. I think you're getting yourself an absolutely cool watch, something that stands out, and something that just looks fantastic. But let's show on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my just shy of 7-inch wrist, and that is very, very comfortable. At 35mm by 42.5mm lug to lug, only 11mm thick and 17mm lug. So a little awkward on the lug length, but if you've got around my size wrist or smaller, you'll be fine wearing this bracelet with it. I gotta be honest, I think this watch looks best on the bracelet. So go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls, 13 watches. These drops, they feel like they're all getting bigger and bigger, and each week I keep saying I'm trying to make them smaller. It's not happening, but whilst I can do this, I'm gonna try and get as many into the drops as I can without making it too overwhelming. I think 13, 14 is kind of the limit. I don't really want to go any more than that each week. but we just keep getting more in. So thank you all very, very much. We're buying a lot more. We just bought a beautiful non-wash yesterday. We're potentially buying another Datejust, a Breitling Top Time, which is coming in, potentially another Speedmaster. I think we've got 6 or 7 on the website at the moment. It's crazy. So I'm really, really grateful. Thank you all very, very much, and let's keep it going. Obviously, as time goes on, as we get closer, and I've said this multiple times in the videos, but we're having a baby end of August. As the time gets closer to that, I'm going to be in the office less and less, and obviously once Isla, which is going to be her name, is here, it's going to be even less. So just keep that in mind, and we'll do our best.